We're continuing our journey through bedtime stories. Coming up today, Trollbridge by Neil Gaiman.
I think it's Gaiman.
I think it is too. I don't know why.
I don't know.
I don't know why I just suddenly flipped it. I'm going to say this wrong, apparently.
The famous guy that's done a lot of stuff that you've seen on Netflix.
Yeah, I've said his name hundreds of times. My wife and I love Good Omens, and I decided to flip it there. Either way, this is a story that I think a lot of you would enjoy if you haven't read already. I know some people like to check out our channel for tips on, stories to read. This is one that deals with fairy tales, and I would say the number 3 is rather important for this one.
Oh, yeah. And it's a good coming-age story about how your younger self thinks about the future and then how your older self reflects back upon your mistakes. It's a really good coming-of-age story.
Yeah. So here's something that kind of bugged me when I was reading it. The story opens up on a train, right? Like it's his youngest memory that he says at 18 months. And when I say 3, I don't count this 18-month period, but there's 3 major periods that we see into this man's life: when he's 7, when he's 15, and then when he's older, right? But there's just like this quick throwaway, like the earliest memory I have was trains. And we see a couple of lumps of coal, like of trains that have died, and the dragons have moved on. Again, like kind of like a playing with that fairy tale theme there. Why do you think that is?
I think that he's trying to set the stage of loss. And that's what the narrator seems to have throughout the entire story, is just tragedy after tragedy, because I think that's going to be important as we get into the story. And when he finally meets the troll, what does that mean that he keeps enduring these losses throughout his entire life? And how does he cope with it?
Okay. Were you into trains when you were little? Like, we got big Thomas energy over here, and is big for my son too. So it was also kind of our first memory too. So I was just kind of like curious to think about how many young boys, their first memory, their fantasy, like it's trains. And to your point, it always dies, right? Like they grow out of it. They're no longer interested. They're more into ninjas and explosions and stuff.
I definitely loved ninjas as a little kid. I had a ninja suit and throwing stars. But I was never a train guy. I grew up, on a farm and very rural areas. As my younger self was more into horses and motorbikes, 3-wheelers, stuff like that. So I was never a train kid.
Okay. Well, this little boy, I would say he's adventurous, right? To get into the story, he's explorative, right? Like as soon as summer hits, he takes those shoes off and they never touch his feet again, except under duress for the rest of the summer. And he's superstitious in some regards, right? Like believes all old houses are haunted. And eventually, he goes into the woods where, does anything good happen in the woods ever?
No. No.
But, to cut to the chase, right? He finds his little cold rock of things that have moved on, but he's still got his fantasy and explorative nature. And he runs into the troll under the bridge who says he's going to eat his life. And we have some, call outs to Billy Goat's Gruff, right? Like, don't eat me. My sister's going to come along. She's going to be so much tastier. And the troll can smell everything, right? And says, basically, okay, come back when you've experienced life more, when the little boy pleads. What do you think about this? Like, what's this eat this life? What's this? Why show this vignette for the small boy?
First, I want to ask you a question. Are we taking this story as almost a literal interpretation, or are we looking at it from more the fantastical view? What do you think? Real quick.
I looked at it both ways, I think. I don't know if I kind of thought of this as each time the boy meets the troll, he's presented with the opportunity of death, right? Like, to cut to the chase, there's even like that line in there, like she fell from the bridge, or like suicide from a bridge or something like that. That was a little bit of a strange topic there, but it made me think, if I was presented with the opportunity to choose when the end is, when would I choose it? Like, when have I experienced enough life, and when is life too much to cut to the end of the story, right? I saw this movie once a long time ago where basically, I don't want to say the name, spoilers, but it's basically this utopian society and everything was perfect, but the outside world was destroyed, ragged, apocalyptic, right? And when you were 30,
Logan's Run.
When you were 30, you had your graduation ceremony, and at that point, like,
your crystal went off.
Yeah,
Yep.
like and you got hunted if you didn't go for your big reward. And I won't say what the big reward is, but it's that idea of like, when do you decide you're going to leave, right? Like, because at this point, the person was going to leave society or like the utopian society to this post-apocalyptic world. It's interesting.
Yeah, you could definitely take it, I think, as a literal interpretation of almost like the lottery, right? But for me, and I see that, and that's kind of how I went. I think that going the fantasy route is very good. I think it makes it a lot more lighthearted. And maybe you can see it as a little bit more positive, even though the ending is kind of, somber. But for me, I took it as a real world kind of literal interpretation of someone's life. I think this little boy has experienced some type of trauma, and he is dealing with it through the troll. The troll is his trauma, and he is contemplating taking his own life. And the troll is saying, we can end it now. I can eat your life. It can be over. You don't have to experience anything else. You'll be done. And the little boy is brave enough at this point, and I think the boy is still innocent enough to say, no, I'm going to keep trying. And he convinces the troll, there's so many things I haven't done. And he's telling himself this, but again, the troll is the representation of his tragedy, his depression, whatever it is. And he tells the troll, no, I need to learn to ride a bike. I need to learn to whistle. I need to do more with my life. I'll come back and my life will be tastier. I will have more experiences for you to enjoy. So then he leaves and he goes on to experience more of life.
Did you notice at the end? So like, we have 3 vignettes of this boy when he's 7, just discovers it. There's 15 where he's willing to sacrifice like this girl that he kind of half loves to the troll, all the way to the very end, to your point where he's probably contemplating unaliving himself, right? Did you notice that? So at the very end, when he kind of agrees, like, okay, go ahead, let's do this. I'm here. I've lived. I've whistled. I've loved. I've married. I've cheated. All that stuff. And he agrees to have the troll eat his life. Did you notice what the troll did as the troll walked away?
He whistled.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? And he's wearing his skin too.
Well, I want to go back first to the middle vignette of his teenage years, because I think this is where the boy loses his innocence. So he's has the hots for this girl. He quote loves her, young love, and they go out, and he thinks he's gonna get some, and they run into the troll. And again, I think the troll is this traumatic experience of some type of issue. And either it's between the boy and the girl, or the boy has had some type of traumatic experience with sex in the past. And the troll's like, are you going to do this? Like, I can end your life right now. And the boy's like, going to sacrifice this girl. And I take the real interpretation of this is that he's making the wrong choice of what's going to happen between him and this girl. And you can read into it as much as you think, and I thought, wow, this is like worst case scenario. And again, he finally makes the right choice of no, I'm not going to sacrifice the girl. And he convinces, his trauma, the troll, to let him go. And he says, there's so many things again in my life that I have to try to experience. And I promise I'll come back. And then when he does finally come back, and he's gone through all these other things of having a family, cheating on his family, divorce, he has all this trauma, all of this baggage. I think that, and again, you're gonna laugh because old Crypto went the positive route. I think that when he finally gave up all of that, he gave up his trauma. He didn't commit suicide. He gave up his baggage of his depression or whatever it was, and he was the troll leaving. It's his skin leaving. And he left behind whatever that was that corrupted his life the whole time. He left his sin behind, and he went out back into the world a better man at that point in time.
Oh, I
tried to think of it as a positive note. Yeah.
Okay.
So like
okay,
the troll
is
is the good him.
Yeah.
It's his skin. He's whistling. He's happy. He's gotten rid of the negativity in his life. He's turned his life around, and all of that corruption, I guess is a good word, is stored under the bridge, because his whole life he had been pushing it down, right? Like under the bridge. And now he's finally let it go, and he can whistle happily as he continues on with his life.
Yeah. Because if we go to like the troll's words, like, let me eat your life, right? And at the end, when he's just like, he's just so worn down by what he's been doing to his family, neglecting his wife and such. You're right, that is the positive route to go. I actually was kind of wondering, like, there wasn't enough social influence for me to draw this conclusion, but like, when you hear the word troll, a lot of times you think of internet trolls, right? And you think about how they specifically try to bring other people down, like how they do cause, I don't know if trauma is the right word, but they do try to cause harm and bring other people down in order for them to feel better, right? Because they can't do that in real life. That you can think about how this man also has caused so much harm that he has even, figuratively become the troll in terms of harming others, and he accepts what he is and decides to actually just embrace it, so that way he's not harming anyone because he wants to be under the bridge and stop being that harm to society, to stop causing the pain and suffering to others. Because that 15-year-old, for her to be like, remember that one time we were together and I thought you were going to kiss me, I kind of wanted you to, that's a big statement, right?
Oh, yeah.
He left a big influence in her life, and his wife writing a 15-page letter to him about how he never loved her. He's caused a lot of harm in her life. And now the little boy, right, to grow up alone and not have someone else. So it's almost like he would rather be the troll under the bridge and choose to stop harming other people, is kind of how I viewed it too. But I like yours better. I think I like your...
Well, I think both interpretations are valid, because if you look at the story as a whole, the boy starts off in the daylight, everything is beautiful and wonderful, and then it slowly closes in around him. And as he gets older, he's living with more and more regret, and there's less vivid and happiness. But you get to that point in your life, call it a midlife crisis, or you get to the point of, what does this regret matter now? I'm 50, 60, 70 years old. There's nothing I can do about that. I just have to move forward and try to be a better person. And I think that that's kind of what he does, is he realizes his regrets are his baggage pulling him down, and he has to let them go if he's going to make amends and maybe try to repair things, maybe not, completely with his wife or his family, but at least try to just be a better human in general.
So if you're taking the Logan's Run approach, the troll of causing harm to the other, or leaving your trauma behind, we hope you guys enjoyed the story and enjoyed this talk. Neil Gaiman talk. Gaiman. Wow. I'm on a roll today.
Go talk to the troll. He'll help you.
We're going to leave a playlist for his other talks of his down below. Halloween's coming up. Maybe I'll be a troll this year. You never know. Peace out.
Peace.